Hello everyone and welcome to Virtue of Tech. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Arzopa Z1FC portable gaming monitor. So inside the box, you do get a Type A to Type C USB cable. This is about 1 meter long, as well as a Type C to Type C USB cable. And it also comes included with a HDMI to mini HDMI cord. This is also about 1 meter long. Then you've got the manual and you've got the portable monitor itself. Right now I am using this with a single Type C cable, so on compatible devices this would work just fine. So on the side you do have two Type C ports, the mini HDMI port, as well as up and down power and OSD and menu button. On the right you've got nothing. You do have a stereo speaker, so you've got a speaker grill here, speaker grill there. And you do have a flat slate-like surface on this, so no weird shapes here going on in the back. And it also has its own kickstand. So I did pick up this monitor from AliExpress. Affiliate links will be down below. It goes a huge way in supporting this channel. And it's a fairly nice monitor, actually. The build quality is excellent. It's got an aluminum body. It feels rigid and strong, feels durable, and I love the matte screen as well. You can see my studio lighting over here, but when it's turned on, it handles reflections really well, a lot better than a glass or glossy screen. So as I was showing earlier, if you do have a compatible device, whether this is a laptop, mobile phone, or a mini PC, you can power it and send out a video signal from a single Type C cable, which I'll just demonstrate right here. So plugged it in, just one cable is powering up. And as you can see, that's the Virtua website, and it's all happening through a single Type C cable. So taking another look at the monitor itself, you can get a sense of the viewing angles. This is a IPS panel, 1080p 1920 by 1080, 16:9 aspect ratio. So it's more of your traditional aspect ratio, which makes it great for movie watching, gaming, consoles, and just general devices, actually, because there are some other monitors that might have a 4:3 or 16:10 aspect ratio, but game consoles like the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 and 5, as well as the Xbox and whatnot, they don't really support the 16:10 or any other aspect ratio besides 16:9. So on this mini PC, I am running it in Ubuntu Linux, but as you can see, through the single cable, I am getting 144 Hertz at 1920 by 1080. It's working no problem. And it is currently at 100% brightness. So you do have the own screen display where you can adjust brightness, contrast, eco, DCR. DCR will just make it dimmer. As well as color temperature. So I've got it on sRGB, but you can change it to warm, cool, and user if you just want to calibrate it yourself. And then one thing I do want to point out, this monitor does have HDR, except I wouldn't really use it. This is something that I have noticed with a lot of these portable monitors. It seems like they're just adding HDR support, even though it's not really there. So when you turn it on, you can't really customize the the colors or the brightness, contrast. The colors usually tend to look a bit faded. On a Windows PC, you do have some level of control. It's the same as you get on a PlayStation 5 as well. You can go into the menu and you can make some adjustments, but it just makes the colors look really, really faded. And no matter how much you calibrate it through software, it doesn't really work. On the PS5, when I turned on HDR as well, it just made things look really, really red. So I wouldn't use HDR on this monitor. But in SDR mode, you have about 300 nits of brightness, and it gets bright enough. It's not the brightest display that I've seen, but it is a matte display. So it does look very paper-like, and being 1080p, again, not the sharpest display. I have seen 4K and even QHD panels, of this size. You'll have no issues reading text. So if you are just reading text, reading a website, yeah, you'll have no problems with that. But looking at the text, you can see it's a bit jagged around the edges, and it's not as sharp as the as the QHD panels. Yeah, so just something to bear in mind. But picked it up from AliExpress. When it's on sale, it does come at a very great price, and 144 hertz. Portable monitor that's built really well. You do have this solid, aluminum construction. It feels premium. It does not feel cheap in the hand. And the other thing that I want to go over is this kickstand. So that's the maximum that it goes, and then this gives you plenty of angle. More than enough for you if you just want to sit back and relax. You can see it, and it gives you a lot of control, and it's very, very sturdy. It does hold its position well. One thing I did notice about the kickstand is it does have rubber feet on the bottom, but if you go to extreme angles, the rubber feet no longer make contact with the surface, so you can hear that. So you may end up scratching your surface if you use it at extreme angles. I wish they'd do something about that. Maybe just use a thicker rubber feet. That would probably solve the problem there. The other thing is, if you are using it in portrait mode, which you can do, and this kickstand does support it, you have no rubber feet on the bottom side over here. You've got rubber feet here and here. So when you're using it in landscape mode, you've got the rubber feet there keeping it in place and not damaging your surface or the body. But on portrait mode, no rubber feet there. Not a big issue, and you can buy your own if you really care about that. And it does hold quite well under portrait mode. But again, I like to keep my desk safe and scratch free. This portable monitor does have built-in speakers, but it doesn't have a 3.5mm audio jack. So if you are using retro devices, you can't plug in headphones basically. On a PS5, even on an Xbox as well, you can always use the headphone port on the controller, but for certain devices, if that's not possible, then you might run into problems there. Hello, and welcome to Virtue of Tech. In this video, we are going to be doing an unboxing So I do have the volume set to 100%. It does have stereo speakers, but they're very, very quiet. So the built-in speakers are not good for movie watching, they're not good for music, they're not really good for gaming, they're not good for anything, and you don't have a headphone jack. So for certain devices, this might be a bit of an issue. My mobile phone, I've got the Honor Magic 5 Pro, it sounds a lot better, it's louder, it's deeper, it's got more bass, more clarity, and this is just a tiny little mobile phone. I do hope that portable monitor manufacturers start putting more thoughts into the audio experience. And just not having the headphone jack just might make it a problem for certain devices. But if you are using it on a PlayStation, I've got a PlayStation 5 over here now, and I'm just going to show you how this works with a PS5. You can power this with the Type-C port on the front of the PlayStation 5. It does provide enough power for this. But you will need to use a separate, HDMI cord, so it does require two cables. The other thing to mention is it does not come with an included power brick in the box. So if you're using it with devices that are not able to supply enough power, then you will have to use your own power brick just to power it up. The included cord is very short as well, and it's same for the Type-C cord and the mini HDMI cord as well. It's really short, so that might be an inconvenience for some. Right now on camera, this is an inconvenience for me, and I'm not sure how to lay this out. Let's try and move this over here. And this is actually the other reason why I'm using the PlayStation, because my computer is at the bottom of my desk, and since it's using a mini HDMI cord, I don't have spares available, and so it won't reach my computer. So if you are using it as a secondary display for your computer, then you may need to buy an extra Type-C, mini HDMI to HDMI cord. The portable monitor is turned on now, and this is at maximum brightness, and it's running 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hertz. I'm just going to put on some Spider-Man. So now that the game's loaded up, it's at 1920 by 1080 at 120 Hertz. This portable monitor does not support variable refresh rate, so you can't turn that on PC. You can't turn it on PlayStation. So if you do want variable refresh rate support, you can't turn it on. The colors look good and the motion is nice. It's bright enough for, for home use, for indoor use, and even with these studio lights facing me, it's not a problem. And the matte display really helps with that. And as it is a 16:9 aspect ratio, you don't have any black bars at the top and bottom, left or right. So in terms of response rate on the website, Arzopa are saying it's about 10 milliseconds, 144 Hertz. 10 milliseconds, if you're into competitive gaming, it is a little bit high. But when playing around, at least playing Spider-Man or some sort of racing game, even with a wireless controller, I'm not really noticing any sort of input delays. It seems very smooth, very playable. So ultimately, who is this portable monitor for? Well, it's great for a secondary display. It's great as a secondary display, especially if you want to use it in portrait mode, or if you're a Twitch streamer, it could be great as a secondary display just to monitor your chat. If you're video editing, again, a secondary display. There's tons and tons you can do with this as a secondary display. But if you are using it as a secondary display, you may need to buy a longer cable, just because the included cables are just 1 meter long, 100 centimeters. It is really short. If you're using it just with your laptop though, then a small short cable might just be more useful, less cable clutter, and being able to power it and get audio, get display functionality from a single Type-C cable is really good, because it means you just have to carry the device and then one cable. It does not come with a sleeve or any sort of protective case. So again, if you are using it as a portable display just to take with your laptop for business or leisure, I would say get some sort of case or sleeve for that. These can be picked up very cheaply on AliExpress, so do check them out there. If you're looking to buy it for retro devices, then not being able to plug in, plug headphones into it, not having a headphone jack might be a problem. Or maybe you don't mind it because a lot of retro devices, they don't have good sound. So maybe you're okay with the very tinny zero bass sound. That's also a bit quiet. Brightness is good enough. For indoor use, it's fine, but it's not the brightest panel. 300 nits. So, but in terms of value for money, depends where you get it from. On Amazon, it's a bit expensive. On AliExpress, if you find it on sale, it can be had for like a very great value. Arzopa also are selling this on their website as well, and yeah, it's a bit more expensive there as well, actually. AliExpress is really cheap sometimes. And I will have affiliate links down below if you are looking to get that. It helps the channel out immensely. It feels really, really nice. If you are using it as a portable monitor that you're going to be moving around, it just feels really nice. It's really well built. This is something with portable monitors that can be a bit hit or miss. It's just overall build quality. Some of them just feel really cheap, and some of them are very premium like this. So if you are looking for a 1080p, 16:9, 144 Hertz, 16-inch portable monitor, this is a great option. Thank you for watching. I do hope you found this review helpful. Don't forget to subscribe or like or dislike if you found this video helpful. You can also check out a written review over on our website, www.virtualup.com. Take care.